Okay, this is something that I wrote about perspective, what I think about the concept of perspective, and how to utilize it to unlock different truths in a objective reality while looking through your subjective reality. That is like your own experiences versus on a mass scale, what the human condition is really like. Okay, so I'm gonna get into it. Pardon me if I stutter or skip a word, but I'll do my best. Okay, I think people will appreciate the human um, aspect to this. I'm not letting AI read it out or anything like that. It's just me reading. Okay, so perspective. Knowledge of things in life give clarity to most, but to the true seeker, he knows the striving for more is the journey and the destination all in one. The gathering of knowledge is coming from teachers, friends, family, and strangers. These people project their realities to form yours. Many times, people's perspective or subjective realities are built on fear, self deceit, trauma, and pride. Yet it still teaches something true. Incompletion is an objective reality. The world of many forms a consensus based on these factors. To see clearly, to see objective truth, is to combine these perspectives and survey them all like an owl perched on an aspen, untouched but still intimately inside the story. Okay, so yeah, that's something that I just wrote after a great conversation about the same sort of topic. Um, I really seek to understand at least what this whole thing about life is about, what the human condition is, and where we can ascend it, where we can um, seek and find. Um, I really am a true seeker because I have results. This is taking me on a crazy journey, but that is neither here nor there. I want to talk about my subjective reality and my objective reality, or human beings' objective reality. Um, so, yeah, a lot of us come with various filters in which we see the world, and that is essentially our ego, um, our base personality, mixing with our DNA from our parents, our flaws, how we were brought up, what knowledge was given, what perspectives were pointed to as true and as fulfilling and as also rewarding. Um, Sort of like morality, different rules. You can say religion, worldview, as in like even like the origin of the world, even like a scientific point of view, maybe a more indigenous sort of story with animism. That is like the world being very active, like say like the mountain having characteristics or certain powers or wishes to come together and form the world, or the moon or the sun, being active characters in the creation story, um, or the Adam and Eve sort of perspective. But all of these things come with questions, come with doubts, come with a level of faith to be able to believe and integrate into your worldview. And my thinking about that is to take it all in, very open mindset. And with an open mindset, you get to learn a lot more. I was just telling my friend, people that lock in to one certain either dogma or way of thinking or ideology, it creates like a pressure cooker in your mind, sort of like the same mechanism of depression when it comes to looping thoughts, depression like looping negative thoughts, but instead of an ideology, it's kind of a more of a neutral looping of similar ideas in a certain framework that is untouched by another perspective. So I know a lot of you probably heard about like the echo chamber of the mind or whatever, echo chamber, like say social media, your feed versus somebody else's feed and stuff like that. And it's feeding your worldview certain things about the world that you now have to either accept or decipher on your own based on your real world or digital landscape. But I think for me, being open-minded, it really frees your mind of those certain loops and that pressure cooker of the mind that then bubbles up into pride. And pride will essentially isolate you from the people around you, from the greater world and certain opportunities, because you have this hierarchy in your mind that is telling you that you are special or different or the only one that knows, and that's just a very big delusion, because we all never will truly understand what this world is really about. There's just so many factors and so many components that make up just even a human life and even the greater world around us. And for thousands of years, we've been trying to explain what that really is, and it's all coming from a human mind trying to grasp and trying to articulate concepts that are outside of this dimension, or at least outside of things that can be observed. And even science runs into a problem where they can't explain everything, and even the factor of lighting, or the factor of something being observed and changing shape depending on if it's being observed or not. The very fluid nature of the sub-reality that surrounds us, that makes up everything that we know, see, and are conscious of. So in the beginning, when I was talking about certain filters that we all have, certain variables in our perception of things, geared with past trauma, pride, biases, basic, there's hubris. It comes down to, what can we see without bias? What can we see outside of ourselves that is real, potent, and true? But we carry our minds wherever we go. Our homes are our bodies. There's not an outside perspective that we can really see, unless we say take an animal's eyes and like we're able to see through like a whatever vision they got of the world is completely different. Like we know that certain animals or insects see in a different color spectrum than we do. Right, they're able to perceive different things outside of a human perspective. So then it comes down to what is really real, and that's what science tries to prove, like a materialistic point of view. Like you can boil everything spiritual or religious or anything like that type of experiences down to it's just your brain, basically, or it's just your perception or your mind playing tricks or what have you. But there still is something real and objective about those experiences, even though they may not be able to, they couldn't be repeated through inducing certain scenarios. It's very tailored to you, just like your dreams are tailored to you. and certain experiences on psychedelic drugs are tailored to you. Like no one person is gonna have the same exact experience of these things. Maybe different archetypes are the same, because the energy and emotional landscape is the same, or it's made up of the same things: love, fear, guilt, shame, joy, sadness, anger. All those different things can be pointed towards as like an amalgamation of being, but to do away with those emotions is to think rationally and to be rational and to be objective about things. Um, but then you kind of get into a space where it is still subjective because you're operating from a point where you don't have any emotional sway. So that's also a unique perspective, one that can be attained by all people if the right conditions are met, but still it is a subjective experience. Um, so will we ever get to an objective reality, and um, what is it that's stopping us from all, you know, being consistent on a real thing, or a real experience? Um, I'm not going to claim that I know that, but there are things that there's a shared reality that we all live in. We can all look at a chair and say it's a chair. Um, and that's what is the most popular belief of what that thing is. But it just boils down to human beings creating meaning out of things and uh, having a shared realities for social cohesion and for, you know, building a baseline of reality, so that people can operate uniformly. Um, is that really how we're meant to be? Possibly, but it's not necessarily what the point is to be living. It's not necessarily to have a consensus reality. It's really to have your own experiences and real knowledge, or real experience, real results for yourself. Uh, and it just looks different for different people. But let's get back on talking about perspective. Um, so say from somebody else's perspective, one analogy I made today was someone looking over, like three people sitting at a bench, and they look over in the corner and they see roses. One person says, "Oh, I love roses. Every time I see them, they just give me such a loving feeling. I think about romance. I think about all these things." And one person, the next person says, "Man, I hate roses. Every time I see a rose, like I think about that time I was thrown in a rose bush. I hate roses because they're so prickly, and they're poisonous, and they just remind me of my trauma." And the third person would say, "It's a flower. It's a flower." They don't have any emotional response, nothing reactive, no bias towards it. It's just a flower. And who in that scenario is right about their perspective? Usually it can be associated with the objective reality of the person that has no emotion, that just says it's a flower, and associates no characteristics with it, because an omnipresent outside observer that has no feelings or no inclinations and just operates based on rationality and truth, they just see a flower, with no necessarily distinctions. Maybe physical characteristics. Say the flower is red, right? But somebody else is colorblind, they say it's blue or gray. So, it just kind of goes on forever. But I love thinking like this because it really it sharpens my mind, and the people that I talk to about it kind of sharpens their mind to questioning everything, but also having an open mind towards things. So I think that's a real key of like just your IQ just exponentially rising because you take in all information, and you're not rigid minded. You're not what's the word? You're not abrasive. You're not rejecting things that people say or people bring up. But yeah, this video can go on forever. I can just but yeah, I hope you enjoyed something, gained some perspective on that, and I have another video coming out soon. All right.